It recognizes our belief in God, our country, not just individuals, our country, our founding fathers codified this in the documents that founded this country. Our reliance, our belief in God, and our reliance upon God. Of that, there's just no debate on that. You may like it, may not like it. Declaration of Independence, we find these truths to be self-evident, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, of which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It goes on in the Constitution to say we are putting together this Constitution in a preamble to secure the blessings, not only for ourselves, for posterity. And that Constitution followed with a Bill of Rights that enumerated those godly rights given to man, including the very first one, which was the right to believe in God and to express that belief anytime, anywhere, including the public square.
33 million. It's proven to the money investors that people want something to feed their souls, not just their worst desires.
Absolutely.
And
yes, indeed.
This kind of sums up my entire dialogue career on the heat of the night. You ready for this? Okay, this is it. My 7 years on the heat of the night. My dialogue all summarized in this. Get right on it, Chief.
But Bubba's my name. I like my iced tea sweet and my women the same. I'm your brown-haired badge here in little old Sparta, but nobody's bigger or tougher or smarter. If you're looking to fight, best not be with me. Wanna be held tight? Well, now we'll just see. You never know in the heat of the night on TNT. Heat of the night on TNT. Now I don't put on any airs, but then I ain't no slob. Just a redneck boy with a blue-collar job. The ladies I date, they gonna have 'em some fun, 'cause I'm a big hunk of crime fighting son of a gun. So if you're looking to fight, come on up in the ring. You wanna be held tight, just about anything can happen in the heat of the night on TNT. Heat of the night on TNT. Yeah.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
Unbelievable. Free at last! Free at last!
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now, 559-899-1550.
And welcome to Alan Autry No Retreat. Excuse me. All right, coughing already. Excuse me. Thought I had that done before we went on there. Yeah, there. Feel pretty good now. That happens to old dudes. Folks out there close to my age know of what I speak. But here we, for better or for worse, live radio. I love live. I never thought I would ever say something like that. I used to be terrified to be called on in school to get up before the class live and talk about, a book report or what have you. Guillermo Triple G, first, welcome to the show.
Hey,
were you always
a
this outgoing, gregarious in the media? Your face out there, your voice out there, giving speeches at rallies, Republican rallies, and getting your stuff together and going across the country to do another little symposium?
No, I used to be a Democrat.
So Democrats are never quiet. That's not the context.
Pretty quiet.
Were you quiet growing up?
Pretty quiet.
Would your mom agree with that?
Oh yeah, I was pretty calm.
You were just
Well,
calm is different. Were you ever like shy?
Never shy.
Just quiet.
Just quiet.
Thoughtful. Introspective.
Yeah.
I was strangely quiet.
I don't see that at all.
Gosh, I was.
It.
That's 6 moves in 5 years, and only child just shut me up. I was shutting down. I mean, I didn't say anything, I don't think, before I was like a teenager, which I know it's an exaggeration. Now they can't
I'm going to have to ask Bob the Bullet on
No, he'll tell you.
You're quiet.
Well, it's at school. I was shy, really shy. But like I said, they can't shut me up now. Okay, let's get right to it. A lot of stuff happening in the news. The King 10-day event here. I don't know if event's the right word for it. I don't mean to.
Celebrate. You can't call it a celebration.
Well, she probably would.
Morning.
Morning.
That's what it's called. Today's morning.
Yeah. It ends up, I think, Saturday when she's finally laid to rest. But why do you think this passing of this individual, and you've got the folks out there, the haters on the left, going, hey, I mean, there was one tweet from a professor at some college. I saw something. The last part of the college name is Mellon. This guy's a melon head.
Yeah.
But he says, it's, I'm happy that she's dying. I hope the death is excruciatingly painful. You find those out there, but I think that's in the vast, vast minority of people that feel that way. Even people that don't really believe in a monarchy, that believes that the monarchy should just go away.
Yeah.
Find themselves affected. I've talked to them about the death of this woman. Why do you think we're feeling this way? Is it the longevity that she's just been around for 70 years on the throne, as long as I've been alive? Which is odd for me to wrap my mind around that.
Yeah,
the way I feel that she's been on the throne 70 years.
Yeah.
She took it in 1952, the year I was born.
Crazy.
Yeah, why do you think we're seeing this genuine mourning that extends beyond the UK?
Well, I'm not British.
Excuse me.
I'm not British, but
I thought so. Gosh, thank you for clearing that up.
I might be a Scottish lord. Because
you are a Scottish.
I am.
Okay.
So when I'm watching the coverage and I'm watching all the interviews that are done with the common folk, they always comment on how accessible she kind of was. I mean, she had 70 years. You know how many people she met within 70 years? They were saying that a good amount of Brits have had that, they might not have, obviously you can't touch the queen, but they had been in her presence, or they had seen her somewhere, or they seen a member of the royal family. So they're not only losing a monarch, they're losing someone that, I heard that she would actually go to the local store and like get bread and stuff. I mean, I
think you're onto it.
It's crazy how ordinary she was.
I think you're onto it.
And here's the other thing. Whether you like the monarchy or not, the monarchy, when you think about it, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, it kind of made England. I mean, it really has. When you look at other countries that size, they're not as important as
exactly.
the Brits.
And it wasn't not too long ago that the whole world was ruled by a monarchy.
Yeah.
I mean, you look the Ottoman Empire, the Russian Empire, the Chinese, you go on and on. Those were monarchies. They were not free elections.
Yeah.
And you see a monarchy, probably the lone surviving, that goes back that far, back into the Middle Ages and beyond. I mean, not like the monarchies in Saudi Arabia that was, I think, created in the 40s or something. A real true monarchy.
It's special.
And they have this love, and it's counterintuitive, Guillermo. Most people don't wind up having a personal connection, empathy, or affection, or in this case, love, with really, really wealthy people. They can't. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Rockefellers aren't I mean, when Rockefeller died, I mean, his immediate family probably cried.
Yeah.
But the rest of, and he did a lot of good things. You just put that when Jeff Bezos passes away, I don't think you're going to have 10 days of mourning, have people, maybe, and nothing against Bezos. I mean, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
In many ways, the English monarchy could be the quintessential privileged life. You're born into it. You don't have to work with Harry and William were born into it. Born rich, born pampered.
But it's a curse as well.
Born pants. But I was thinking, you know what? She became a role model of how rich people should be.
Yeah.
Because I think...
Without a doubt.
Exactly. I think the moment at 21 years old when she dedicated her life to the service of her country, when she didn't have to do that, she could have went and lived the life of Orange County housewives.
Oh, yeah.
She could live the count of the Kardashians.
Yep.
Her title could have just been rich woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't. And she proved that with her actions. And I think that's what it is. It's like the Kennedys kind of had this. Love the Kennedys, hate the Kennedys. What I admire about Joe Kennedy, and he was a flawed man, but he genuinely believed with his kids, he instilled in him that you've been born into privilege, okay? You got a lot of dough. And then you're going to get more dough when your mother and I die, okay? But you have a responsibility to use that power and privilege for the betterment of the world, especially people who are less fortunate than you. And you see what the Queen did day in and day out. I mean, she was a mechanic during the war. She was a grease monkey. She chose to be a grease monkey. And then there's a story which I love, which was more recent. Did you hear this one about King Abdullah came over from Saudi Arabia to Buckingham Palace? And apparently she says, "Welcome, King. Would you like to go for a ride around the premises?" King Abdullah, "Yeah, of course." Well, he gets in the car and she gets in the driver's seat. Now, of course, he's from Saudi Arabia. Women don't drive.
Oh, yeah, no.
Women don't even want to. He's looking over going, wait, something's wrong here. She's minus the burqa and she's behind the wheel. Something's going on here. She proceeds apparently to peel out, drives around the circle, taking corners like Dale Earnhardt Jr., does spinning donuts behind the wheel, having the greatest time of her life, and her Abdullah come back. I mean, how can you not love that woman? Just for that singular, down-to-earth, common thing that she did with the king, going, let me show you how royalty should really act.
Amen.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why I think you're right. I think go ahead.
And I think a lot of people have those stories. I mean, she's 70 years. That the King Abdullah one. I mean, there's so many moments where she's. What do they say? You really know who you are when no one's watching,
right?
And I mean, she had everybody watching at all times.
And she always embodied that British principle of stiff upper lip, stay calm in the face.
Oh
of,
yeah.
There's that quality that runs through still today, most of the British. They're not really, I hate to make broad swaths, go off on the show, these broad swaths of people. But let me try to phrase this properly. What we've seen in history through wars and all that, it seems like that there's something in the British culture that allows them to persevere, stay strong, not panic, even in the face of being defeated and conquered by Germany. And it was embodied in Winston Churchill. He didn't pound the desk. He didn't take his shoe off like Khrushchev. "We will bury you." He very calmly, "We will fight you on the beaches. We will fight you in the forests. We will fight you on the shores. We will fight you in the air." And there's something about that calmness that's very intimidating.
Yeah.
And I think Hitler felt it. Hitler actually really, if you read some history, really respected and admired the British people. He didn't really want to attack England because he knew it was going to be a dogfight, man.
Oh, yeah.
And I think she embodied that, yet she had a tenderness and was able to navigate stuff that we all deal with, not just the challenges of life economically and that sort of thing and wars, but internally in her own family.
Oh yeah,
don't air your dirty laundry in front of everybody, you know.
And it made her more human. Like,
Yes.
Man, she was dealing with kids that just, for some odd reason, just made her life. I mean, how many parents don't deal with kids or family issues that you're just like, oh my goodness. And she was human. She was just like us. She wore the crown, but man, she dealt with motherly issues. She had the same problems, and she had to play it out in front of everyone.
Yeah, it was amazing because, you know, the thing with, you know, Princess Charles and Diana. Boy, I tell you, Charles has got some shoes. He got some high heels to fill. I hope he's not actually trying on the high heels.
He's wearing the skirt today.
You never know about Charles, but I was very impressed with his speech, and a lot on his shoulders to continue that tradition of love and strength and fairness to all that his mother exemplified for so many years. But in the midst of that Princess Di thing, when, you know, it was in tabloids everywhere, you could tell she clearly, you know, that was her son.
Of course. Yeah.
But she didn't for 1 second say anything that you could construe as demonizing towards Diana. You knew that was her. So it was amazing how she navigated that.
She class.
Because usually that's pick a side.
Yeah.
And you better be vocal on whose side. You're on the husband's side, the wife's side. And she was just such a role model for not just the rich, but all of us, of how to keep even keel thinking about those kids, Harry and William. You could tell that's who she was thinking about, and knew that if she took a side or she was too vocal or she was out there, you know, just hammering her fist and making her the center of attention, it would not be good for those kids. And that's really something. At least that's what I took out of it. I will really admire her for that, because, you know, emotions during something like that, you know, you're saying these things about my little Charles, you know,
70 years of always rising above.
Yeah.
And some might say, hey, listen, the Princess Di thinks she took too long, but I mean, 70 years of always rising above. I mean, I don't think I could spend 2 weeks rising above sometimes. And it really shows you, it really makes you think, because you look at our political scene, you know, is the monarchy political? Well, who represents the people, the prime minister or the monarchy? And you really start having this kind of battle where it's kind of nice, because you look at the monarchy and they really truly care about, and some people will say, oh no, they don't, Guillermo. They care about the British people, the country, and the politicians do all the nitty gritty.
Right.
I mean, it kind of makes you wonder, man, and not that I'm advocating for this. I don't want to be like, you know, biblical times. Like maybe
preach on, brother.
Maybe the Americans could have a monarchy that rises above politics and has.
Well, the left thinks they're trying to stop that. The Trump monarchy.
Oh yeah, Trump, King Trump, the MAGA king.
Everybody wants to be the orange man.
The MAGA king, yeah.
Come on.
No, but think about it. And I thought about this. I was like, you know, imagine.
Well, you know, the Greek philosophers, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, you go on and on, believe that unless you were educated and you were a philosopher, you shouldn't lead. They didn't believe in democracy. They believed in a republic.
Yeah.
Plato wrote the republic, meaning a representative government. He said, if you're not aware and you're just, you know, you go into your job, you know, you're great, you're helping the country, but you're not aware of all the issues, you're just putting your head down and working, and you're not educated, you shouldn't vote. Now, I don't adhere to that. I think that's kind of elitist, to say the least. But there was a thing, if you didn't own property, you didn't vote. And I think there's something, though, that can be taken if you sit down and discuss that in a way, not get triggered and turn into some crazy argument. There's something to be said about educating yourself about the issues. Becoming a somewhat of a philosopher, if you will. You don't have to get a PhD in it. You know, you have to be Seneca or Marcus Aurelius or any of those guys. You just be knowledgeable. So it's, you know, but I was sitting there thinking of what would Queen Elizabeth, of what we know about her at least, or think we know about her, what she would be saying about this hullabaloo. I think she would be going, oh, my dears, enough talking about me. You've got a war going on in the Ukraine. You know, put your energies there to bring peace into a... Why am I sounding like Julia Child instead of Queen Elizabeth? Well, I started trying to do Queen Elizabeth and turned into Julia Child. And then once you're there, put a little pepper in the sauce and you'll have some great spaghetti. But I think she would say, don't, you know, I mean, yeah, go ahead and adhere to the tradition, but stop. I think she would say, In her heart, she said, wait a minute. I'm not that good. I just did my duty. I served my country.
Yeah.
So don't put me up on a pedestal because so many others that you never even hear about that died at Normandy, who was in those during Dunkirk, that gave their lives there that you've never heard of, that served their country with the same, even more strength and commitment and honor than I ever did.
It's very true. But she actually, from what the reports say, she choreographed the whole thing. The 10 days. I mean, she was able to, and I think
she's a traditionalist.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to happen.
There's a balance because I think she realized, even though there's, the world will still go on, and we still have war, and it's horrible what's going on, obviously, in some parts of the world. But I think she realized that it's not her. It's not just her. It's really the people. She's
right.
She's the people's queen. She had to give them their chance to say.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I think, as I said, she absolutely a traditionalist. Yeah, she wouldn't have the monarchy going. But doing all of those things, getting people to say, a chance to say goodbye to her as the queen, the office, and her. That's why her funeral. What do you call it? It's not a parade. Funeral
mourning.
The funeral procession. Procession went through Scotland, so she's going to go through the whole UK and let people say, look at and say their goodbyes. What I'm thinking she would object to is stuff like we're doing.
I was talking about her.
Well, giving her sainthood.
Yeah,
basically. I mean, I'm sitting there listening, going, "Well, this woman, she's up there with Mother Teresa."
I would say.
Well, but she would say not.
Of course, yeah.
That's my point. I mean, we're going to keep saying it, and that's why I'm saying it, because she would say, "Don't say it." Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect sense.
If she would have said, "Make sure you say us about this when I die," I wonder what Trump's going to say when he's dying. What his direction is going to be. I want to make sure there's a spot for me. It's called Mount Rushmore. Make sure you give me a spot.
I'm sure he has.
Trump. I'm just kidding. Come on, I'm just kidding.
Doesn't every president though? Don't you
get tired of getting? I don't get tired of getting beat up by both sides.
Oh, I
get when Trump does something right. Way to go, Trump. Does something wrong. Come on, Trump.
Hey, that's we're doing our job. Okay. When everyone hates us, no one likes us.
All right, you got a point before we go to break?
I got tons of them.
Well, you want to pick one, or you want to go to break first?
I got just well wishes for King Charles, because I think he's the third. He's got big shoes to fill. I see now. I bet you him and the Queen had discussions on how this was going to take place and how quickly he should move. And I think she probably said, "No, as soon as I'm done, as soon as I'm no longer among the living, it is your duty. Mm-hmm. You got I had to do it with my father's death. You do it. You get out there. You get before the people." And I bet you they had these conversations, and he did it. I mean, when you look at him, he's emotionally, you could see. I mean, you could see on his face, but he's moving forward.
The media. I use this phrase a lot, but don't you know, all of them are like starving dogs in a meat house. They're waiting for the first little tiny misstep.
Oh, they're waiting for him
Charles.
Fart when it's all quiet or something.
They will be on him. They will be on him. He has to be flawless.
There already was one. Did you hear about it?
And I don't think Elton John's going to write a song about him.
No.
It's not going to be a candle in the wind for King Charles.
He already had one. Did you hear about it? One misstep.
No,
I saw it early this morning.
What happened?
I was like, what? No. So apparently, he was about to sit down on a desk, his desk.
Don't tell me.
And there was stuff on it. And
oh yeah,
did you see this?
Was he rude to the guy?
I guess he was.
I saw that, but I couldn't hear what he was saying.
I couldn't hear what he was saying either.
He was just saying, "The guy,
he's like, hey, move this stuff." And
so that makes him an elitist.
Yeah,
he's got somebody that's supposed to do that.
The servant didn't jump as quickly, and apparently they say that he said, "I'm the king now. I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to move these things."
And see, folks, the clip I saw had no audio.
Well, the clip, I couldn't hear it. It was very faint.
It didn't have audio.
He had just kind of he had a paper in his hand, and he was just saying, "Hey, can you get this out of my way?"
Okay.
So elitist.
First,
oh my gosh,
King Charles, just remember this message to you. Conduct yourself at all times.
Yes.
As if one of these are on you at all times on camera. And folks on radio, I'm holding up a cell phone, which is now everybody's camera. All right? Assume everything you say is being recorded. Every mic is hot.
Yep.
Wherever you are, when you're in the Buckingham Palace bathroom, make sure you follow the right protocol. Wash your hands for 20 seconds, even though COVID has been defeated, okay?
Yeah.
Do everything right because you're going to be under the microscope like no other that we've seen in our lifetime. This is Alan Autry with Guillermo Triple G. We'll be right back. I hope.
Sometimes I'm right and I can be wrong.
I'd like to do songs and twist them to how Trump would do them. Sometimes I'm right and I'm never wrong.
So true.
What? We can do that. Oh, you can do that? You have the editing capability? Oh, you just opened up a hornet's nest for me. I'm in a playground. Oh, we are going to get together. This will be worth a Westwoods barbecue lunch for you. You, me, and Guillermo. I'll pick up the tab.
Well, I can only.
Oh, let's have some fun.
I can only
we
eat
can
lettuce.
put Biden in there. Oh, gosh, yes. Oh, my mind's already going.
Oh man, when a man loves a woman.
When a cisgender person loves a gender-neutral individual, doesn't have quite the ring to it, does it?
No, it doesn't.
When a man loves his country.
What's that?
When a man loves his country.
When a man loves his country.
I don't think I've ever. How's that one going?
No, like Make America Great Again, but.
Oh! I get it. See, he's so hard ahead of us. See, he's way ahead of me.
Man.
You being a millennial, that's it. Do you no, Jeremy? You don't qualify as you're
a millennial. Barely.
You're at the older millennial, or
younger
millennial.
Yeah, I'm the.
Yeah, that's my son. He's a younger millennial. You are a mid millennial.
I think I'm more a latter older millennial.
What? You're 34, right?
36.
You're 36.
I'm at 37.
When did that happen?
I don't know. April.
How long have I been at this station?
2 years?
What?
Or a year?
I expected Rod Serling to walk in. What Alan Autry thinks. As he was doing a simple radio show. But he didn't know.
Remember, it was only going to be like 1 or 2 days a week.
He stepped into the Twilight Zone. Notice they never said zone.
1 minute?
The Twilight Zone.
You should do
what?
You should do songs. There's so many.
Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song. Hey, Mr. Biden, play a song for me. A jingle jangle morning.
You can have Kamala Harris singing Respect.
But she's got to spell it. R-E-S-P-A-C-T. What it means to
30 seconds?
Yes. I'm kidding about commas. You're a very intelligent lady. See, they just lift that and say, look at this right-wing wacko. They wouldn't see the rest of it before I do a mea culpa and say I was just being silly and stupid.
Oh, man.
One thing she is not. She's a very educated, smart lady. She's just not articulate. She doesn't.
Yeah.
10 seconds?
Is she not?
And I know inarticulation when I see it. Believe me. I'm a walking, talking, inarticulate dude. Aren't I?
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
And welcome back to Big Monday. Alan Autry here with Triple G, Guillermo Moreno. And we're going to, for now, we got a few more days before the Queen is officially laid to rest, but the impact she's had on this country and world for 70 years is just worth talking about.
Alan, you going to watch all the coverage?
What's that?
For the next 10 days.
No, I'll record it and watch it. When I turn 96, I'll turn back and watch all of it.
I don't know why,
no,
but
no disrespect.
It's fun to watch.
Well,
it's like, look, they're in front of this old church now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But people are going to be.
Pierce Morgan's crying. No, it's Pierce Morgan. I tell you, he's devastated. He loved the Queen. He took up for her and the monarchy. It cost him his job, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on because I've been wanting to talk about this because and it's go from something beautiful like the Queen passing to the rising crime in this country. But before we get to that, because I don't remember. Certain things, it's good to be thin. That thing's thin, right?
Weight-wise thin?
Well, yeah, exactly. You got one. Some people want to be thin, not skinny really, but thin. That's good. Some people like a thin crust on their pizza.
Yeah.
Right? That's
weirdos,
good to be thin. But there's also some things that are not good to be thin. If you're an ice skater, you don't want to be on thin ice. That's where that phrase comes from. Well, you're on thin ice. And another thing, you don't want thin toilet paper. It is probably the worst thing you could imagine is having
I know where this is going.
thin toilet
There's
paper.
a reason.
Now,
There is a reason for that.
there's a reason. There is a reason why Charmin says we're soft and strong.
Oh, here we go.
The soft we understand
Here
because
we
on the booty's sensitive, but the strong has nothing to do with touching of the booty. It has to do with your fingers not being able to go through very easily the toilet paper, because we've all had that happen. It's not a joyous experience. Now, I would like to bring forward
Oh, here we go.
Exhibit A.
Here we go.
Exhibit A from our bathroom here at KXEX Radio. You on the radio can't see this. But this is one ply that I brought in after using the restroom. Very frustrating and very infuriating time, I might add. Now, this is truly, I didn't tamper with it. The evidence has not been tampered with. It was collected, went in there, was put in a box so nobody could tamper with it, brought in here behind the mic. I'm taking it out right now. I'm holding this thing up. It is so thin. I'm looking through it, and I can see Guillermo. I can see Guillermo Moreno through this ply of toilet paper.
It's like a wedding veil.
And I'm going to look at this. Look how easy I go. Your fingers go through this. Now, having said that, being a mayor, I'm always budget conscious. I'm always conscious of budget. You have to cut back where you can cut back. But I'm springing for some Charmin. I'm going to spring for the Charmin, the soft thing. But then we got the toilet that maybe won't flush it.
Yes.
Now,
So-
is that going to be your? Are you
yes.
going to go there?
So Your Honor, let me.
Okay. You
So-
might put defense before I bring down judgment on
All right.
this.
So basically, we're above a school. All right. Right below us is a school that has some very expensive computer equipment. And I don't know who designed it this way, but our restroom at the studio is right above.
Mr. Moreno, where are you going with this? This
When
seems to be off the subject.
What we flooded
of thin toilet paper.
When we have anything other than 0.75 ply, it plugs up the toilet.
What is this?
That's half ply. That's not even single ply.
It's not even.
It's half ply.
So you're hanging yourself in this thing.
It's
You
half
want to
ply.
continue, or you need a
However-
lawyer?
however-
you need Jeremy to come in here in your defense, because this will be held against you.
Since I switched to the half ply,
yes,
we have not flooded, and all the kids below us who rely on this computer equipment are able.
What?
Are you going to say no to the kids?
Look,
It's
I
that-
love kids. I love kids. I would do almost anything for the betterment of kids.
0.75 ply.
But going through half a day with stuff underneath your fingernails. You know, this is a very difficult subject to talk about.
Just
it must be
double it up.
addressed. There must be a protest on this.
0.25,
No.
0.75, 0.75, 0.7. You only have to double it up
I don't
5
care
times.
how much inflation takes up toilet paper. Buy the soft and the strong toilet paper. They'll be in there tomorrow. I'm bringing in a big old 12-pack of toilet paper here.
We're
to
going
KXEX
to cause a flood.
Okay. No,
It is pretty.
man.
I didn't even know they made it that thin.
You try to take it off there and it would tear. You couldn't even get a full ply
It's
off.
disintegrating in your hand already.
You put any friction on that roller to pull it off, and it would. I mean, I was taking it like 1/4 at a time. Then you have a handful of fragments, and you go, "What do I do with that?" So then you're left with one thing. Go over there to the towels, the paper
Oh, don't
towels.
do that.
That's like sandpaper. I had to go over there, get a couple of that sandpaper things over there. I couldn't get it. Anyway, let's move on.
Smart
This
and
is
final.
a serious show. Yeah, it's smart. Well, okay. Look, I've taken a big stance, hard stance. I don't think it's unreasonable by any stretch of the imagination. But I've taken a very, very strong stance on crime. I believe it is the number one threat to the stability of this country. Not COVID, not bad leadership. That's bad enough. Go on, inflation, border, all that stuff. And strangely, a lot of that's tied into crime. But out of control, random violence can traumatize not only a particular neighborhood, but cities, entire states, and if left unchecked, can traumatize an entire country. There's no place you can pack your things up and leave that's going to be safe, that you feel safe. And we're in that now. This rising crime because of this permissive criminals first ideology, which defies any kind of reason, is now not only running rampant in traumatized big cities like New York, L.A., you go off San Francisco, you can go on, but now it's going into the small towns, the smaller towns. Memphis, Tennessee, for example, scene of two of the most egregious crimes that we've heard of in a while. This fellow Ezekiel Kelly, 19 years old, goes around and just randomly shoots and kills 4 people, wounds 3 others, who wouldn't have been caught, no telling how many he would have killed, and posting it on social media. Mm-hmm. That comes on the heels of this fella, what's his name, Cleophas, Cleophas got his name here, try to forget it, but you can't, Cleophas Abston in Memphis, who raped and murdered Eliza Fletcher, a kindergarten teacher. This guy has a rap sheet a mile long, including rape charges, yet he's out on the streets. This guy, Kelly, it was either Kelly or Abston, was sentenced to 3 years. It was let out in 11 months. It really doesn't matter which one it was because the crimes are so egregious. And which begs the question, how much more carnage are we going to allow before we crack down? Because I guarantee you said, Alan, well, you can't stop it. Listen, there's no saying you can't stop it. You can only hope to contain it. I agree with that. Violence started with Cain slew Abel, and it's not going to stop till the big sheriff in the sky comes back and takes us all home. Mm-hmm. But you can contain it. And Rudy Giuliani proved that in New York. It was the murder capital of the world. He took over, and he started cracking down right away on so-called small things. When somebody grabs a purse and run, and the system calls it just a small minor crime. Well, no, not if it's your wife, your sister, or your mother who's traumatized by that. And by the way, now they're not just grabbing purses. They're grabbing a purse and cold cocking whoever it is. Criminals, they at one time had some honor. Now they don't. They don't care how old you are, what gender you are.
Yeah, they don't.
They're going to just go in there and beat the living daylights out of you. And I subscribe to this. I don't think it's a theory. I think it's absolute fact that one of the reasons we're seeing this escalation, Guillermo, I want your thoughts on this, and if you want to call in, please do, is the fact that these criminals know there's not really going to be any consequences, even if they get caught. The one got caught, out in 11 months. You get caught, no cash bail. You just get to walk free. I mean, really violent people. And you think that that's not going to increase the instance of violence, crime in this country? And the random violence of this type is the kind that really traumatizes, like I said, communities, cities, states, and countries. Because it's not like a gang member having a disagreement with another gang member over turf. It's not like a crime of passion. Mm-hmm. A spouse is cheating on somebody, the guy goes berserk, a woman goes berserk and kills him. It's not that. It's just random violence. And that's what we had here in Fresno in the early 90s when they finally put out the SWAT team at Winchester. So my question is, when do we say when? When are politicians, mayors, police chiefs going to say, I'm going to stop being paralyzed with fear that if I do my job, and I'm going to throw in here, really, I shouldn't have left this out in this preface, the judiciary system, the judges sentencing these people, they have discretion, but they're using that discretion in favor of the criminal. There's a saying, if you use a gun, you're done. And this one individual, Cleophas Abston, I believe it was convicted of attempted murder. And that's why on this show, I think attempted murder should be punished just like murder. I'm going to say that once again. Attempted murder, willful attempted murder, should be treated as murder. Why? Because attempted murder means you only missed. You missed. You tried to kill somebody. You pulled the trigger. You jammed a knife into someone trying to kill them. Why should that be less of a charge? Because the person is confined to a wheelchair the rest of their life. James Brady didn't die. but he was impaired, drastically impaired for the rest of his life. Yet the sentencing wasn't as hard. Attempted murder, and the guy's out in 11 months. And I just, societies have to wake up. Prior generations, this wasn't even open for discussion. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Alan, this is the culture problem. This really is an American culture problem. And there's, this, addressing crime, you have to address so many different facets of just everyday life, family life, neighborhood life, politicians, their ability to understand it and comprehend it, to be able to make some change. You asked, what is it going to take, right? And I think we're always asking, what is it going to take? What is it going to take to import this type of change? This ain't going to change, Alan. It's not going to change. You could have the most gruesome crime. I mean, you could have, and we've had children die.
But we have changed it in the past.
We have, but that was the past. This is where the American culture. This was before you had this radical thinking of, listen, it's not the person committing the crime, because if the person commits that horrible atrocity, they grew up in a bad neighborhood. They can be rehabilitated. Don't punish them, because that's just cruel and mean. That's not who we are. Let's rehabilitate them. And that's this entire theory.
That's the George Soros theory that is devastating this country.
It is. And the hard part is getting those individuals on the left and on the right, because there are some Republicans that believe, no, the second chances. There's second chances, and then there's just there are those individuals, and I'm not afraid to say this. My wife worked at Corcoran for 10 years. She worked in Corcoran physical therapy department. They'd beat each other up, and she'd fix them up, and they'd go back out. And something that her and the COs always used to know, and they would know, because they would say, "Hey, I'm out in 2 months," or "I'm out," and the COs knew, "Oh, he'll be back in 2 or 3 months." Mm-hmm. It's everybody. Some people can't be rehabilitated.
There you go.
Period.
Here you go. This is my criteria for it. If you have it in you, in your soul, I'm taking self-defense out of the equation, crimes of passion out of the equation, but even the crime of passion, I have a lot of questions about that.
Those were always fun cases, by the way, to read.
Walk away.
In law school.
Self-defense, different story. But if you have it in you to point a gun at somebody and pull the trigger and try to kill them, you've proven to me that there's something fundamentally flawed about your soul, your mind. Now, passing judgment on you as a person just on that behavior, that has to be, I feel, in a civil society, that has to be dealt with differently than, say, somebody who's even selling drugs is bad enough. I mean, yes, that's a violent crime. He's selling heroin, robberies, that sort of thing, so-called white-collar crimes. Yeah, they're all bad. But to be able to pull that trigger and kill somebody in cold blood or stab them to death. I mean, they're letting people out that's been stabbing people 18, 19 times. Yeah. I read about that.
Yeah.
That is a special kind of individual with a special kind of flaw. And I just don't think we are... Let me put it this way. What an arrogant society to think a group of PhDs who've been studying psychology can deem that person cured. That you can go inside that person's mind and to the point where you're saying they are no longer a danger to society. And I'm going, wait a minute. They've proven to me they're able to do something really, really horrible. Kill somebody, an innocent person. You have not proven to me that you won't. Yeah. And you're expecting me, you guys, you people that are trying to play, the ultimate healer of the mind when we don't only know a fraction of what goes on in the mind. Ted Bundy, the reason he was able to fool everybody. Mm-hmm. He didn't look the part. He was smooth talker. He was logical. He was good looking. He could have probably, you go to these parole boards and you look at him and he could have talked his way out of it, no problem. I really believe that if we don't get a handle on this and start being pro-law-abiding citizen rather than pro-criminal, because we'd get pushback on that. Just because you want somebody to have rehabilitation, that makes us pro-criminal. Well, in the whole context of things, yes. You can't put that first, especially in murder situations or attempted murder. Can you not see the difference? You want that attempted, and all you folks out there that are saying, "Oh, let this guy was okay," like Soros, like the guy that Bodine that says, "Hey, we're going to have some people kill somebody else. That's just part of what price we have to pay." Gascon down in L.A., they come right out and say it out loud.
Yeah, they do. That's their belief.
They believe, okay, but it's just part of the process. We're going to be better off in totality. Well, that convicted murderer that you want paroled, how about you taking him under your wing? Let him move into your house or maybe your neighbor's house. Really show a deep interest and show us the deep sincerity of your convictions.
Yeah,
that
of course.
You support that person. He's no longer or she no longer a danger to society. Prove it. Because, if you take him under your wing and you show me you put your life in danger there, or you really show by bringing this person into your life and not put him in some neighborhood like they put this guy in Memphis, in the poorest part of Memphis, and let him run and murder a kindergarten teacher that was just out jogging, or 4 innocent people didn't know what hit him. And I tell you, this one here, we're going to pick it up tomorrow, talk about it on Taco Tuesday. You didn't hear, oh gosh, I picked some fights on it. But hopefully they're righteous ones, folks. Hopefully they're important, because I think this next one is. Talk a lot about racism and race in America, which I'm a Martin Luther King person, a colorblind society, what I think we should strive for. And right now, if you say that, they call me a racist. Okay? I tell you what, I wished and I pray that the masses of my black brethren, my African-American brothers and sisters, will rise up against this party. I'm not a Republican or Democrat. I'm an independent. I'm not saying become Republican. But this Democratic Party that has leaders, black leaders, that say somehow, unless the assailant and the murderer is white and the victim is black, it doesn't matter as much. We're not going to give it the time. It's just not important enough to make it a top story with us. It's not important for Al Sharpton to go speak at that particular funeral when a black person kills a black person in Chicago or every night. Just not quite as bad. They're both black. One's dead. One's alive. We're not going to make an issue out of it. That is egregious. That's horrible. That's evil. You don't hear anything about this Ezekiel Kelly, 19 years. And when I heard about it, I was doing a lot of other work, and I didn't hear, look into it until a couple of days later. But something very striking happened. I didn't hear about it on all the other the media. CNN, Fox covered it. But CNN, I watch them all. MSNBC, barely covered it. And you know what? I made the assumption? The victims had to be black.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was right.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Kelly went around killing innocent black people. And the media, no, not black. Now, if the guy would have been white,
oh man,
he would have been a MAGA individual. Do you find, can I say that without being called a right-wing Trumpster?
Probably not.
Conspiracy theorist? Come on. Come on. That's horrible. If it would have been a black cop whose knee was on George Floyd, if Derek Chauvin was a black individual, it would have been just as horrible that George Floyd is dead. Why would it be less horrible? Tell me that. I guess I just value life. I don't put a color on it before I'm going to put a value on it. Let me see if somebody died. Well, what color are they? Before I decide I'm going to mourn or not. Yeah. What kind of mindset? And it's predominant in the media and today's Democratic woke movement. And liberals in the Democratic Party, people like Bill Maher, I salute Bill Maher. The old schools would not tolerate this for 1 second.
Yeah. Alan, it's political ideology is what it is. Everything, unfortunately, in life, when you go down to the politician, all the way to the media, it is, okay, I have a political ideology, and that's my ideology, and I'm going to institute whatever I feel as long as it gets to that end. And I feel like it's the big experiment. Like the politicians, yeah, let's go ahead and let out criminals because they're good people, because it fits my narrative of the world's been racist against them. They grew up in bad zip codes. Yeah, it's okay if, crime's going to increase a little bit, but I'm fitting my narrative. And same things when there's a shooting or there's an atrocity. It fits my narrative. We're all a political experiment.
But I would just like to ask this question to them. I wish they could come on the show and say, okay, I understand that. Why is it not just as egregious and just as horrifying in the hood in Chicago when a young 19-year-old who never had a chance, whose dad was a drug dealer, left home, grew up, dropped out of high school and is 15, can't even read the fourth grade level, kills another young 19-year-old black kid whose daddy left, who's been abused, who's out dealing drugs too. Why is that somehow acceptable?
Because it doesn't fit the political narrative.
Why don't you say, listen, we're going to go in to that neighborhood, grab the folks that are doing the killing? Because do you know the vast majority of gang members are not murderers? Just a small number. Just a small number of criminals out there can pull that trigger. And the cops and the neighborhood, usually almost without exception, know who those people are.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Giuliani was able to take New York from the murder capital of the world to one of the safest cities in the world, in New York. He went after, and they put the bad guys that pulled the trigger in prison. Crime plummeted. And it was black. He didn't say, who's the victim? Black on black? A black person killed another black person in Queens or in Harlem? He went out and got them.
Yeah.
He didn't say, well, if they're white, don't get them, or if they're Italian, don't get them, because it's not quite as bad. Italian kills an Italian, get the Italian. Black kills a black, go get the black killer.
Yeah.
White kills a white, go get the white killer.
Yeah.
Asian killer. What's another? African American. I don't even know if there's any Native Americans in New York City. You don't see too many. They need to go and open up a casino in there. Oh, come on. There I'm going to get in trouble.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, come on.
Jim Franklin's going to call real soon.
But when again, my African American brothers and sisters, again, don't become a Republican. I'm not tooting the Republican horn. They got their own set of problems.
Hey.
Become an independent. Do you
Do
know that independents just took over last month? Just took over by far the largest group of voters in America, much bigger than
Did not know that.
41%.
Did not know that.
41% of the voters now are independent.
I don't know if I like that.
I do. So you got to get the attention. You got to get the attention of these parties. You don't think Mitch McConnell needs to have a little attention?
If I had a conversation with Cocaine Mitch,
you think you know who's changing though is AOC. She's in there. She's kind of enjoying the elite lifestyle. And she's going, how do I get out of this thing where I just got to live in a poor neighborhood so it looks good? Because I'm kind of like I want to get married now. You know,
is she still with the white guy?
Yeah, I want to get married.
He didn't defend her though.
I want to go to the balls and wear the
I think
gowns.
she dumped the white guy.
Yeah. No,
she dumped him.
When did that happen?
Some journalist called her a big.
Well, we went from crime to AOC in a hurry. That was free for all Monday.
He called her a big booty Latina.
Oh, I saw that. That dude. Come on.
He didn't even defend her. Come on, you got to say
was
something.
Was he with her when she was walking?
Yeah, he was walking the dog,
was.
and he didn't say anything.
He didn't.
And that night, she tweeted something like, "Come on, women, like, don't we want our men to protect us?" And he didn't.
He didn't. Did he hear it? Obviously, he did.
Come on.
That guy was yelling it.
Yeah, he didn't defend her on. I don't.
He definitely should have went over there.
Right? He should have.
Didn't she now get? Now she understands. Maybe there's something to this toxic masculinity. You know, can I use toxic masculinity when I want to? Just live my purse a little bit.
There you go. You could. Yeah.
Let's quote poetry together and go look for dresses for me to wear.
That's who she probably chose.
But when I need a toxic masculinity, can I come out?
Yeah, now she wants a man, huh?
Yeah. Oh boy, what a world we live in. Okay, anyway, back on. We got 51 seconds here, folks. I'm going to stay on this crime thing because we got to. Autry's Army. We've got it. This is a dinner table issue. I know it's not pleasant, but this is a battle that can be won. We can make our streets safe. Some things we don't have control over. We do have control over this. We get the right people in office with enough courage at the leadership level, police chiefs in the courtroom, and just make this, turn this system into law-abiding citizens first, criminals second, third, fourth, fifth, if that. This is Alan Autry, No Retreat with Triple G. Thank you for tuning
Always
in.
A pleasure.
All right, and you're coming on at 4 p.m., right?
Yes, sir.
Don't miss it. Love you all, and just remember to do your best. Let God do the rest. Bye-bye now.